Could have done a better job of telling you what this is all about in the title. ClimateForce probably doesn't do it, so we'll go through that a little bit. One of the interesting things that Noel brought up is modernization of industries, and a lot of times, things that we don't think about, the rainforest being an example of that, or our marines, or other places in the ecosystem biodiversity, those can also use modernization. Agriculture techniques, my father's a third-generation farmer in the Central Valley of California, and I can tell you they're using things that they've been using for decades and decades and decades. So what I hope to get across today in the 10 minutes I have is a discussion about a project that is really cool, I think, from a standpoint of a big tech company, NTT, using technology to actually promote good in the form of regeneration of one of the world's oldest rainforests. And that's not where we're going to stop. We're going to continue to take that and the learnings that we have and provide that back to the environmental scientists that are looking at things like biodiversity every day and trying to help this world be more sustainable, but also taking those nuggets and making blueprints for industries like agriculture, places where we get, how do we regenerate our food sources when our population continues to grow and grow and grow. So hopefully those are some of the themes you'll see today as I walk through this. So first, how important are rainforests? We get a lot of data every day from various sources. I'm sure that you've heard a lot about biodiversity. You've heard a lot about greenhouse gas emissions and sustainability, and a lot of times that turns into noise. So I want to give you a couple of statistics here. So 2% of the Earth's total surface is a rainforest today, but 50% of that is from the plants and the animals on the Earth's surface. Now, it used to be 14%. And the United Nations actually estimates that 100,000 acres every day of rainforest is being destroyed. So, other statistics. The Amazon rainforest, 20% of the world's oxygen, 20% of the world's fresh water. These are real statistics. And then from a medical standpoint, in terms of cancer treatments, let's just take that. Plants and animals, plants in particular, to treat cancer. There are 3,000 plants that the National Cancer Institute characterizes as cancer, saving drugs. And then finally, 1 4 square mile area of the rainforest contains these types of 1,500 flowering plants, 750 species of trees, 400 species of birds, and 150 species of butterfly. That's just 1 4 square mile area. But let's put it into numbers that we're all used to talking about. 1 tree over a 50-year life generates this type of an economic impact. So it's important, right? We have to take care of these things, and we have to regenerate these things. So let's talk about the Daintree. And through the goodness of Google Earth, I'm going to fly you over there. It's in Australia. It's right off the Great Barrier Reef. 2 UNESCO sites side by side. It's the oldest rainforest in the world. And there's lots of indigenous peoples also there that have knowledge, just like my father and his decades and parents before him in the farming industry, that they can apply to working in and around the rainforest. And so that's the environment we're working in. Now, the Daintree, being the oldest rainforest in the world, sections of it over time have been taken up by different initiatives. Some types of, reforestation, clear cutting for a banana plantation, for example, which is the problem we're solving today with the area that we're going to talk about in the Daintree. But 120,000 hectares, that's about 350,000 acres. And there's, it's 135 million years old, rich biodiversity. And like I said, the Daintree and the Great Barrier Reef are side by side. So there is a lot of interest, not only there, but a lot of things that you need to take care of. Like you cannot farm with pesticides that are not organic. You can't do all of these different things because it flows right into the Great Barrier Reef washout. we're working with a group called ClimateForce. Is that going to change? Sorry. We're out of sync here, folks. One more. Good. Okay. So we're working with a group called ClimateForce. I got introduced to ClimateForce through some work that NTT Data had done with a gentleman by the name of Robert Swan. And those of you that have been following NTT Data and NTT and hopefully know Robert Swan, he's an Arctic explorer. And he's one of the only people to ever have on foot crossed both Antarctica and the Arctic Circle. And he's done it in a sustainable way, pulling a sled and so on and so forth. Well, speaking about sustainability, I got to meet Robert and do some speaking engagements with him. And one of the ones that we did, brought his son along. His son actually pulled the sled for him on one of those expeditions that NTT was involved in, NTT Data was involved in. Barney Swan, his son, Robert's son, is the co-founder of ClimateForce, and he has taken on the passion his father has about saving certain things and initiatives around saving the earth, into buying up this area of the Daintree rainforest that had been cut down for this banana plantation. They're using all kinds of really interesting techniques. They're geotagging every tree that they plant. They are looking at drone footage. They're using LiDAR, soil sensors, water sensors, all of those types of things. Yet they didn't understand how all of that fit together. So when I started talking to him, and obviously with my farming background, I said, well, let's take a look at that from a technology standpoint and see if NTT can help you and your environmental scientists in your quest to regenerate this part of the rainforest. So the project, 3-year project, kicked it off in January of this year. And it's looking at the things I just mentioned. There's about a little over a 500-acre area of the Daintree infested with weeds and non-native plants and things like that they have to kind of take care and get out. They're replanting trees. They have a nursery. They're completely off the grid. And they're looking at things from soil and microbial mixtures, health of the environment, the wind, the water. All of these are being collected by sensors in the environment, as well as computer vision to look at the animal life, to look at the way that the plants are growing and not growing in certain cases, acoustic sensors to be able to measure the noise. The rainforest has a distinct noise, and a good thriving rainforest will have a certain frequency of those noises. And so they're using those types of things to help them in their quest. NTT and the group that I'm part of with the Smart World Initiative is taking that data and correlating that against the entire initiative that they're working through. And so what we're going to see as we come out of this, as we add more data, as we add more sensors, and look at the vast ecosystem that is part of this regenerative rainforest, we're going to find trends. We're going to look at how things were working, how things are not working. The ultimate value is to create a digital twin of this area of the Daintree rainforest so that we can do scenarios and hope to actually accelerate the growth and regrowth of that area. And the really cool thing about it, back to sort of this reworking and improving the way that industries use technology, we're going to be able to take what we learned here as a blueprint to other industries. So imagine agriculture is one. Very, very easy short putt, right, for that. Other industries, maybe even around cities, and how cities can be more inclusive and in the environment, how we can use some of these techniques that we're working on with ClimateForce to help a city be more vibrant. So there's lots of sort of derivative ways that we can impact the earth, society, and the people who live in it, right? A little bit about the product. Didn't show up here, but the smart platform is behind this. It's the foundation of all of the technology, all of the data. It is a giant vacuum for data. Suck it all in, And then we use AI, we use some common data architectures that our team has put together to help to not only normalize the data, but also make those correlations. And so I like to call it a data twin as a part of the digital twin, but it's the heavy lifting that the digital twin does from a data standpoint. And that's what we're providing as NTT Data, for this project. I hope to be back here next year to tell you some progress after a year in. This is a long-term opportunity for us. And then, with that, I'll leave you with some pictures that my friends at ClimateForce give me. You always have to have that, nice little picture of the girl with the plants and all of that. So anyway, I appreciate your time. If you'd like to learn more about the Smart Platform and the Smart World Initiative, we do have a booth over at the expo. So please come by and say hello. Thank you.